Kenya, Hila. I'm from Kenya, not Namibia. No worries.
For me, Africa, you see how bad
Africa is the continent.
Of course,
Yeah.
I don't know why it was written. Sorry.
Kenya.
I'm so sorry for that.
No worries. But
So it is.
I like what Gary said. It's the branding and the partnerships that's key. And my colleague from Finland is that innovation is a mindset. It's the whole people thing. And what's important to me is to actually see the city-city collaboration. Yes, everyone wants to emulate Silicon Valley. Yes, everyone wants to emulate Tel Aviv. And there's no harm in...
Wait. Can you quote that again? Any press?
Yes, and there's justification in that because what these cities are doing, what these economies are doing is great. But you know, people, you're unique in this room. Innovation is about you, me, and everyone in this room. We are unique. We don't need to copy-paste. The idea of innovation is not copy-pasting. It's finding that key ingredient. What's something that you're doing that's unique? That makes you the outlier. I want to work with you. And something that I'll say, just to emphasize why cities should collaborate, is because innovation is it's the process it's the unexpected. Things happen out of the blues. And this is a story I'd like to tell. We planned the Israel trip in under 3 months. My colleague reached out to Dr. Lisa from Tel Aviv University. She brought us here. Because we are aligned. The paradigm is that we want to disrupt what's happening in sub-Saharan Africa and Europe. But the idea is you don't start with a pen and paper, write it down, this is what we want to do. No, user-centered innovation. Come and learn from people, come and learn the experiences. Once we get to learn, who says we cannot form a new paradigm of thinking? Ladies and gentlemen, we're here to learn, we're here to form a new paradigm of thinking, and then you know what? A year later or 5 years later, boom! A new way of thinking.
Keep going.
That's it from me.
I am so happy you decided to come on our panel. We don't have the courage to talk like that. Glenn, I'm back to you. Thank you, sir, for that.
My ear is still ringing. I think the point made by the legislator from France is a very important thing. Government sets who the winners are going to be and who the losers are going to be. And that causes a substantial amount of the problem. And again, in the democracy, hopefully who will win will be the people who are who are going to do better because of the change. But unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. And many times we see it's not the optimal solution. So I go back to the issue of, is the government of the city providing what is needed to create the innovation? And one way to look very quickly is, how does the city provide the services they are responsible for right away? So you know the city is innovative if they have a subway, and when you're down in the track waiting for the train, does it have a clock that says when's the next train coming? The next level up is, do you have an app that will tell you where each one is at or not? Another one, when you want to get a driver's license or a marriage license, do you have to go to a city hall and wait for hours, or can you do that online or not?
Can I tell you what we do here?
What do you do here?
They get it by a special serviceman to your door.
It's even better.
Yes.
That's a very good way. So
You don't have to come to the municipality.
Tel Aviv, way up there.
Okay.
Another way, when you come to the city, if you come by an airplane, how was the experience when you went through the passport control? Was it an incredibly long line? Was it automated? There's so many things to notice that if the city, the municipality, the government is not providing that service, the odds are they're not very innovative, and it's their responsibility to do it. Now again, it's not easy. Government is not known for efficiency, it's not known for being effective, and of course the problem that you see all the time when they do try and outsource a service, that doesn't work. It ends up being 3 times as long as it was supposed to be, 5 times the cost. Quick example, New York City, in the subway system, they have a program that they're going to have ability to use your phone in the subway station, and they're supposed to hopefully have that done by 2017 to get 200 stations. I mean, that's absurd. But again, and it's going to cost several hundred millions too. But again, that's the problem, is that you have governments that are not really prepared. And I have to be truly honest, if you have good people in technology, do you want to work for a city government and get paid an average wage? Or do you want to go to Tel Aviv and create the next Waze? Or you want to go to Google and make the next Facebook? So the problem is the talent. It's very hard for cities to get great talent because they can't afford what those superstars are going to go work at.
Thank you for your word. And as a civil servant,
I'm saying it's very hard both ways. They can't do it in-house because they don't have the technology. It's very hard to do. When you outsource it, you end up in, I've yet to find a government program that ever came in on budget, on time.
so a lot of the time the solutions are in the middle, just like for Toulouse or for Tel Aviv, it's like a daughter companies or the Mobile Barcelona, et cetera, et cetera. It's not in government and it's not outside. You have to find some new solutions because we need these people. Agustin, you hear all these people. Barcelona is doing quite well, but I know that you don't think that it's doing well enough.
You mean Barcelona?
Yes.
Okay.
What do you think for Barcelona needs to be done to crack the innovation code?
Well, as I said, taking profit of the assets we have. So we are looking around. We have a partnership with cities like Tel Aviv, with yourself, and taking profit of the assets that we have. But I think we are. Again, I said before. I mean, it's going to be a repetition and maybe boring for some people. But I do think that to change the culture and to change the attitudes of the people, that this failure attitude, which is accepted here. I mean, for you, when you're saying, yes, it's accepted, fail is good, it's part of the process of innovation, this is not happening everywhere. I mean, I don't think so. I'm not, maybe in France, yes or not, I mean, but we are not so far. And I think that I'm not wrong.
By the way, I don't think over here, look, the crowd is so quiet. They're also a little bit, they don't even want to ask questions. I mean, it's not anywhere, so.
Absolutely.
Not even in Tel Aviv.
Not even in Tel Aviv, but I mean, that's, excuse me?
She's judging the crowd.
She's judging the crowd.
I'm never
okay.
judging, I'm challenging them. I want them in.
Well,
I'll
we
never
don't have
judge.
in Barcelona this culture. I can assure that, and this is a big transformation from the DNA perspective, from the entrepreneurs, from the private companies, for the public administration, everything. So that means a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of commitment that must be done. So we're taking profit of this approach. I like to say that Barcelona has now, by the way, it's the moment for the cities. And back to the elected woman coming from Paris. Okay, I'm sorry. Is it time for leadership?
Last year, I must tell you, last year I called a lady in the room, a girl, and this was my mistake. So,
Okay, I'm sorry.
Valerie.
Okay, but it's time for, hey, be careful. It's time for leadership. From the politician side, from the private sector. So we need people, as you probably mentioned, that could be leaders in order to start all this change from the cultural perspective, from the attitudes perspective, and from the commitment perspective. So this is something that must be done very quick because it's an international league for the cities right now, and this is a big competition. I mean, we want to be there. That's the reason.
The window of opportunity is open.
And
So
I'm curious to know, because we have been talking about the tourism sector and how the new value proposition coming from the digital solutions is affecting the classic sector like Airbnb, Uber, and other ones. I mean, we heard and we read in the last weeks about Germany. How is the position from this from Germany in front of these propositions? This is going to happen in Barcelona. We have a big fate. It's a big battle against the taxi drivers because there is a classic model based on certain number of licenses, by the way, provided by the government, and this is affecting the new digital business. So how we deal with this innovation, by the way, from the service, quality service perspective is extremely good for the consumer perspective, but it's bad for certain sectors. How is, how we, looking San Jose, what San Jose is doing, and some California cities are doing, some other European countries that are going to be the following the same thing that Germany was announcing weeks ago. So it's a big thing, how we combine all this innovation through digital companies, providing quality services for the citizens, for the tourists, but at the end, I mean, it's destroying a local sector that must be managed in a central way. So it's a big thing.
Right, Maissa, before I go to Toulouse, I'm waiting a minute. Maissa, I know you sit in the middle, I know you have a lot what to say, so just...
Yeah, exactly. So I think in Nazareth, I want to speak in Nazareth, two things should be done. The first is taking all the startups there and define them under one unit that can be identified to the big world, that can be attract investors to Nazareth, that can be bring money to Nazareth, then things will change. The second is to accept the change. I myself accept changes, but others don't. So if we all working on each other and accept the change, then we can make the smart technology enter Nazareth. You know, when I say smart technology, I mean, for example, the cloud thing or the sensors for blind people or the smart parking cars, whatever. So if you don't have smart infrastructure and very solid infrastructure, you can't allow to smart technology to enter to your
city.
Yeah, and if we solve this all things, okay, we can move from solution to revolution. We can help people come, I call it positive immigration to Nazareth. Talented people come and live in Nazareth. But if all these people are running out from Nazareth, then it's gonna stay as it is now, so.
You're absolutely right. By the way, I'm inviting panelists and everyone here tonight, this afternoon and tonight for Rothschild Boulevard. There, all this innovation hands-on is going to be there in the meetups, in the streets, in the boulevards. 100 startups are open. So if you bring your people, the Israelis that are here, call your iPhone them, SMS them, call them to have this hands-on. But I'd like, before closure, to hear your words.
Yes, I want to say that the most important thing for innovation and cracking the code of innovation in Toulouse is that we have to ask to check the mind of the companies. We have many companies, important companies, big companies in Toulouse like Airbus, Continental, ST Microelectronics, and other companies. And then you have to say, if you want to have a project, an event project, an experimentation on the metropole, you can go here, and you finance one, and you finance the other one. So it's very important. It's a win-win. It's a deal win-win between public, private. It's a new deal we talk about with the metropolis in Toulouse. For instance, we have many clusters in Metropolis and clusters in L'Elf, aeronautics, special, and for instance in Elf, Philippe Douste-Blazy, minister before in France, have a new deal for create a foundation for financial the health and the cluster on couple, and he signed a convention with the president Jean-Luc Moudin, with the president of Toulouse Metropole, for acted to have money for developing industry and developing startup about digital economy and about health in Toulouse. So our job in Toulouse is to check the main for companies, change and change the main of companies we will invest in Toulouse, and we have an agencies invest in Toulouse, which is some people over here, and Julien Toulouse, which is here, and we have to make the job for promote also this.
Okay, so we know before I give you your last word, each one, 2-3 words that you want to conclude this panel. Carol, from your perspective, because I can't end this panel without your insight. Carol works for LinkedIn, and you know this is, if you were talking about connecting people and about networks live, what is your advice for us?
I'm actually listening to you guys, I feel really energized, so I don't feel like I'm in a position to give an advice. I just really like what you said. I can't remember the name in the center from Kenya. I really like what you said about everyone wants to emulate Tel Aviv, but you have to find your own uniqueness. And I think what's good about finding your own uniqueness today is that from my perspective, and maybe I'm wrong and being overly optimistic, but from my perspective, failure is no longer such a big deal because of the startup mentality that's surrounding us. So if we leave the room from my perspective with one thing in mind, which is, as you said, Hila, failure is not such a big deal, including for cities, let's just experiment.
Okay, so with that experiment, Gary, your last word for us? Two
You
words.
must be number one in something, figure out what it is, and then every other act should support that.
Okay, be number one in something. Augustine?
We love Tel Aviv from Barcelona. So we want to be Tel Aviv. We want to have a big partnership. We want to do many things with you. And we also think it's the right moment to do it. So that's the reason because we are here.
Okay, thank you so much. Jessica?
I think for me, it's all about experimentation and curiosity. And just using experimentation and curiosity, I think we're going to come up with a new paradigm of actually working with different kinds of cities and cracking the innovation code. So you know what we are doing here? This is an experiment right here.
I agree. Yes, Maissa?
I want to learn from you how to be also a smart city in the north. I want to have your ideas, collective ideas, how to change the infrastructure, the people there, the mind, and I want to raise my daughter there. I don't want to move out of Nazareth.
I hope for that.
Let us change today because it's going to be much more difficult tomorrow.
And I would just add, be willing to accept the pain of change and uncertainty.
Thank you for those realistic words. Clap for our panel. I think you did a great job. Thank you, ladies, for allowing me to fail. I'm apologizing that your names were not on there because this was made yesterday, but they allowed me to fail and put them on stage. I think you added so much. And thank you, everyone.